Andre, I was completely wrong about the new Toyota Supra. When it first came out, I didn't like it, and that was because, of course, it's kind of a hybrid, not in the sense of electricity, but in the sense of half BMW, half Toyota.
And what's happening now? Did you fall in love with this car now?
I did. In fact, I would say if you have a chance to pick up this final edition with the stick shift, definitely buy it, because I think this is going to be a classic. And I'll tell you why in this review. So shall we start with the styling?
All right, let's do the style, because that's important for any desirable car, right? How does it look?
Yeah, so one of the things I love about it is this long hood. When you sit behind the wheel and you see these arched fender flares and you see the length of the hood, it really gives you a sense that this is a car that is well proportioned as a classic front engine rear wheel drive sports car.
You know what? I'm gonna go deep on this one, Roman.
Go deep, Andre.
It was about 2013 when we went to an auto show together. This was when I was just beginning to work at TFL, and we saw the FT1 concept. Remember that sleek, amazingly looking Toyota concept, and it basically came to life, right? Sometimes the transition between the concept car to production, a lot of the things usually get lost in that transition, but I think they did a really good job with the styling on this car.
I mean, it just has all the go fast cues, right? It's got this low, long hood. It's got this double bubble roof, and back here in the final edition, you get this carbon fiber ducktail, which is also cool.
Yes, and also the hips, Roman. Don't forget the hips.
I love the Coke bottle shape, Andre. That to me screams fast and fun. And the dual exhaust coming out the back. There's just a lot of interesting design cues. Now, one of the reasons, of course, that I was not happy about this car is because of what's under the hood. So why don't we pop the hood and show them?
Alrighty.
And the problem for somebody that's a Toyota person, you don't like the fact that under the hood is not the Mark IV Supra's Toyota-built engine, but what instead?
Well, it's actually a straight six out of a BMW, right? This car basically is BMW's drivetrain.
Yeah, so this is the same drivetrain. It's a 3-liter twin-turbo, produces, I believe, 382 horsepower, 368 pound-foot of torque, made it to an 8-speed automatic transmission. Get the one with the manual, of course, but this is the powertrain out of the BMW Z4. And initially I thought to myself, what the Supra was known for was having this incredible engine that you could pump just a boat ton of horsepower out of. But now, several years after this came out, people are pumping a lot of horsepower out of these engines.
Well, actually, if you were to use any engine, I think a BMW engine is the right choice, because of course BMW is known for their engines as well. And that straight six 3-liter is in many different high performance cars, right?
Well, it was in our Ineos Grenadier.
Well, and trucks. Yes. So this is a good base engine with a lot of power. Didn't you also drag race this car against something?
Yeah, if you guys want to see that, it's on all TFL, and we took it up to the drag strip and put it up against our brand new C8 Corvette Stingray, and the results were surprising. I'm not going to tell you, just head on over to all TFL. But this is a really good powertrain, and yes, for Toyota purists, the problem is you expected a Mark IV Supra, which, you know, was built and designed and engineered completely by Toyota. Here you have a car that's actually built by Magna in Austria. That's, you know, like I said, this weird German / Japanese hybrid, but it works.
Roman, I have an issue with this. It says BMW under here.
Every journalist always points at BMW parts. But that's, you know, you're taking two car companies that are known for making iconic cars, and sometimes when you do this kind of chassis engineering, right, where you're basically combining two companies, it turns out to be a complete and utter train wreck. Here, I actually think it worked.
Yeah, well, we'll have to drive this car as well.
Yeah, well, we'll drive in a second. So let's show them the back here.
Yeah.
Now, the one complaint I have about this car is it's, you know, I'm kind of an XL guy.
Yes.
So are you.
Yes.
At least in terms of height. This is more of a L or a large vehicle, so it's a little bit tight. But there is a good amount of room here. But is there a spare tire?
No, actually, let's check it out. Can you lift that up?
Yeah, I can.
Can you move that forward?
I can.
It's actually not a very wide opening. No, there is not a spare. No, but you know there's a solution.
A BMW battery.
Oh, no.
Yes, we have a solution. We have a new sponsor for TFL. They're called Modern Spare.
Exactly.
And what they do is they engineer spare tires for cars like this that don't have them. How clever is that? Because you get a flat, you're not going anywhere.
No, I know, and it's just a peace of mind, right? And Modern Spare actually engineers the wheel for high performance, so it's not just some donut that you can use for short distances. You can actually use that spare tire to go a sizable distance.
Yeah, it's actually engineered for this very car, so you don't have to worry about getting stranded late at night and not being able to get back home. Check them out by clicking on the link below.
Absolutely.
I think it's a brilliant business plan to actually start building spare tires, because a lot of modern cars don't have them. They have the fix-a-flat, which, let's face it, if you puncture the tire in a certain way, it won't fix it.
Exactly. Do people use sports cars for a lot of utility because there's not a lot of space this way?
You ain't going to get golf clubs in there.
You'll be hard pressed. Maybe laying them down that way.
Well, that's what I said. It's kind of a, it's kind of an L car in an XL world.
Yes.
And that was one of the things that I really didn't like about this. And sometimes when that happens, it's hard to get by. The other thing that I don't like is I have to kind of be like a perpetrator in a cop car to get into it, and that is because this A-pillar stretches over here to this segment, and this is super low, and so it does have the bubble, but the problem is,
all right, Roman,
yeah,
Roman, you've been bad. Yeah. You've been very bad.
Yeah, that can get old really quick. And then once I'm in here, I can't actually see out of it because this comes down a little bit too low. But there are some really good things in here. You want to grab the camera, because our videographer can't fit in the back, obviously, and we'll go for a ride.
Wait, we could put Cole in the trunk?
No, we're not putting Cole. Cole, we're not putting you in the back. If you can't fit golf clubs, how are you going to fit Cole?
Okay.
Hop in.
Sounds good. Let's hop in.
Hop in, dudes. Here, I'll grab the camera so you can get your head in. You're going to have the same problem with your head. Let's see how you go.
Okay.
Here, go for it.
All right, sitting in. Ooh, wow. I do have to duck down.
You're more limber than I am.
I do have to duck down.
How do you find these sports seats?
They're pretty supportive.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Dare I say too supportive? Are you
Almost.
farting? Or is that the car?
That was my seat moving. I wasn't farting.
Look, the kind of the side bolsters are a little too aggressive for me.
Yes.
And that may be my fault and not the car's fault. But once again, I kind of feel like this car is built for somebody who is maybe 5'10" or 11. But when you get into 6 feet tall, right, you start to have a little bit of issue. The nice part is the headrest is super soft.
Yeah. Overall, I mean, yes, this car is meant maybe for people slightly not quite as tall as you and I.
Yeah.
But still, I fit. But if I had a helmet on,
yeah, that was another problem.
Probably would be an issue.
I'd be driving it like this. Now, the one thing I do love about this, and this is something I dinged it for when I first, drove it, was this shifter. Of course, that's a typical BMW shifter.
Yeah.
You would think.
And this controller as well.
Yeah, but this is from an era of cars that is long gone now, where you actually have real buttons. How refreshing is it to have real buttons for your pre-programmed radio controller? Or how about real buttons for your HVAC? Or how about real buttons for your sport mode and your different drive modes? And how about real buttons on the steering wheel that actually that
do one function?
Yeah, and actually do stuff, and you can tactile feel them when they do stuff. And then real buttons here for the headlights. I'll show that. It's just, very simple. And yes, you've got all this for the radio, but you know what? This was kind of the peak era of where technology was still not defining the car as it does today. And I'm really happy about that.
Roman, I really like kind of these red seat belts. This is nice.
Kind of under your arm.
I know, it's my microphone. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Just want to make sure people know that you're doing that on purpose.
It's on purpose because of the microphone.
Because the first comment will be like, "Oh, Andre, you're driving weird."
I know.
Or riding weird.
Yes.
Now, this final edition does have some special bits and bobs to it.
Yes.
First and foremost, they're only building 1,300 of them. That's why I think
collectible maybe?
This is collectible. I think this will be like the Toyota Land Cruiser. Remember when the last 200 series came out and they had that kind of heritage edition with a cool script? Those never actually went down in price. Now, I'm not sure it's going to hold true for the automatic, but if you got yourself the manual, I think you would have a car that might actually appreciate and not depreciate. The other thing you get is bigger Brembos.
Yep.
In this car, and a little bit firmer suspension, so it's a little bit more track worthy as the final edition. I also love this red. It's a really good red color, but I'm a sucker for red. It's quick.
Give it the beans.
It's
a little
very
bit.
quick, right? Here we go. That was traction control.
It's cold. The tires are cold.
It was traction control kicking in there because we spun the rear tires. Steering is precise. Brake feel is superb. Throttle response is a little slow because it does have the turbo, so there is a sense of not the sort of immediacy you get in the Corvette, but the downside is I'm hitting these bumps on purpose. It is a firm ride.
It is a firm ride, but a very sporty ride. And I think this car, that fits the character of this car, right? If we were in a Grand Highlander and it rode like this, I would not quite get it, but I get it in the Supra.
I mean, the boundaries of this performance envelope are so wide and so deep that you really have to put it on the track to really be able to wring out what this car can do. And I was able to do it when it first came out. We put it on the track and it does handle superbly. It has that kind of perfect balance that you want in a sports car where even though it's not mid-engine to rear engine, it still kind of rotates around the center of mass. And it's just a joy to drive quickly. In fact, I would say too quickly, because what happens is you can quickly get over your head. That's a lot of quicklies.
I know, but eventually we'll get the price, and that's maybe where I have a small problem.
And here we go, I'll floor it again. Here we go, a little lag, and here comes the power. Oh,
it's so quick.
I think you're like in the 3-second range there, even at a mile above, you know.
Well, Toyota states just under 4 seconds. Yeah, like 3.9, 0 to 60, which is plenty fast.
Now, if you watch that video where we drag raced it against the Stingray, well, one of the things that is a little lacking is the engine note. The straight six is one of the smoothest powertrains out there, but the Chevy LS V8
is a whole different animal.
It's a whole different animal.
Why is there a murder of crows here?
Very good, a murder. Yeah, that's what.
Right?
Yeah, I'm impressed.
There's a lot of crows.
So yeah, you think it's a flock, or you think it'd be a gaggle, but it is a murder of crows.
There's a lot of them.
Interesting word. I also like the fact that you've got a really chunky steering wheel, controls that are easy to understand and navigate.
Yes.
And as much as I'm not a big fan of carbon fiber, I think actually in this car it does class up the vehicle's interior as opposed to having like the piano black. So it all sort of kind of works for me, Andre, except for the fact, like I said, that I'm a little cramped behind the steering wheel.
Well, not everybody is as big as you and I.
No,
right?
No. It's not as bad as like a Miata, let's say.
Miata, we recently had a Miata, and I felt claustrophobic inside of it.
Actually, let me go over this bump. I want to try it. Let's see how bad it is.
Are you going off-road?
I'm just going to go over the bump. You also do scrape, it doesn't have a nose lift feature, so you do scrape the chin a little bit when you go over very steep bumps.
Yes.
But overall, let's face it, this car is a last of its breed. You still have the 300Z. Is it 300?
Oh, the Z.
The Z.
No,
it's just
Z.
a Z. It's just a
no,
Z
you're
now.
thinking about the Zs of old.
Yeah, so you still have the Z, which kind of sort of competes against it. The GTR, of course, is much more expensive and it's gone. But let's get out of the car and we can talk about the price.
Exactly, because I kind of have an issue with that.
All right, you have an issue with the price.
Yes.
All right, we'll give the camera back to Cole. Cole, he didn't get kidnapped when we were gone. Good job, Cole. And by the way, look at these meaty tires. These are Michelin's. Holy cow. What size are they? Those are 275/35 R19s. It's a good size tire, and there are your bigger brakes. I believe those are Brembos actually that you get with the final edition. All right, so I have the Monroney right here, Andre.
You got the window sticker?
And there is some good news. So MPG, if you do care, is 25 combined.
29 highway.
Yeah, but it's 22 city. That's not bad. And then check this out. This is the part that's staggering. Look at that. That is 1,195 for destination.
That seems cheap.
From Austria. How much does a truck cost that's built in Michigan to deliver?
$2,595.
Yeah, and people say new car prices have not gone up.
Yes.
All right, so the total.
But the final
is for the final edition is 71,160.
I don't know. I don't have a lot of comparisons. Like you said, there's not a lot of competition here, right? There's a Nissan, there's a BMW version of it, right? But
It does have some interesting. It's got those those struts,
Yeah.
GR struts that we saw under the hood. It also has a drive resistance package, which is $1,195. So not a lot of options. The struts are $620, and then there's wheel locks $90 and carpet cargo mat
Yes.
$110.
Yes. Do you think that's on the money for price, or how do you think about the price?
I think for a car that I'm guessing, especially if you got the manual, not the automatic. Everybody wants manuals nowadays. People are actually, our
Hunting
friend
them.
James,
Yes.
we also raced this video hasn't been published yet, but we raced this against the Mark IV Supra,
No way.
also automatic.
Okay.
So I think that is not a bad price, Andre, for a car that I think is going to hold its value, dare I say, Andre, appreciate at some point, and people are going to come around to it, maybe like I did, where it takes them a while to be able to get past the BMW-ness of a Supra.
Yeah, and coming up into the future, I think Toyota and Lexus are working on the next generation hypercar, right?
LFR, perhaps?
Yeah, LFR. So that probably will be out of reach for you and I as mere
It won't be
mortals.
71,000, I'll tell you that.
But 71 is almost within reach for you and I.
Yeah, and then, there's also the less expensive sports car, which is also has a final edition, the
GR.
GR86.
Yeah.
And so if 71 is too much, those are, I don't know, Tommy just went and drove those. That review's also over
That was
TFL.
like 40,000-ish, maybe.
Which 5 years ago would have seemed like a lot, but today actually doesn't seem that bad, considering that we're living in a world where new car prices, especially new car performance prices, are through the roof. As always, Andre, on the TFL scale of buy it, lease it, rent it, or forget it, I'm going to say buy it. Buy it, buy it, buy it, buy it. And I don't usually say that.
I think if I was in the market for a sports car, I would also say buy it. Yes.
Anyway, head on over to All TFL if you want to watch the drag race, and we'll see you next time. Ciao.
Thank you.